Hello everybody, Mike, aka the Magico13, here with episode 23 of the Out of This World series. As you can see, we've got a station lab core thing currently building. You'll notice there are a little bit of changes in KCT with these upgrades, and I think the settings were there. The upgrades button is new, and the build list looks a little bit nicer, and there's this little button here which opens this menu, which allows me to rename. View doesn't work yet, scrap it, yeah, all that stuff. I'm actually going to go into the upgrades. You'll notice we have 19 points available. I haven't done anything. You can also purchase additional ones for 250 science, and you'll see this says rate 1, rate 2, rate 1 and rate 2 for this, and research and development. Development currently doesn't do anything, not worth putting points into. Research, I'm actually going to put 2 points into this, which what that means is now every day worth of ship that's built, I get 1 science from it. So that is a new feature coming up in Kerbal construction time. I now have 17 available. You'll notice total points are 19. That is the number of tech nodes I have unlocked minus 1 because the start node doesn't count. Yeah, so we have 20 total tech nodes unlocked, so we get 19 points. And when we unlock another one, we'll get 20 total points. I'm going to upgrade the VAB to have a second rate. You see the second one comes up, but I can't improve that, but now I can. The second rate has to be lower than the first rate, the third rate has to be lower than the second rate, and so forth. And I could just keep going and have as many rates as possible. I'm going to raise this up to half. Now this isn't normally something you can do. I should maybe make it so you can't open the build list and this at the same time, but you'll notice this is going to take 3 days, 6 hours, 20 minutes. As soon as I upgrade this, that should reduce. Yeah, so 3 days, 2 hours. Now it's less than that, yeah. So every time I upgrade this, I'm going to get it up to 1.5. You notice this increases by 0.05, 0.1, or 0.15, and the next one would be 0.2. It's cheaper to get a second rate because you have to upgrade the first one first off to get it any higher, and also because it's less useful when you have one thing building like this. Having a second rate is not really worth anything. So yeah, we now have a primary rate of 1.5 build points per second. So that reduced the 3-day build time down to about 2 days. So as we get further and further, this will be even lower and lower. And now if we have 2 things building at once, I can actually show you that really quick. If we've got 2 things building at once, then we are set, and we get even more things. I don't know, what else would be good to build? Let's just build one of these and one of my standard launchers. I've started making my launchers standardized, just because then I can reduce build times even further. So this is going to take 12 hours, 48 minutes, and 50 seconds at that 1.5 build points per second rate, with a total build point of this. So we're going to actually build this, and I forgot to rename it. So let me do that. Alright, so now you see this untitled spacecraft is sitting here. Progress is 0.01%, but it is actually, the time left is decreasing. I can also swap the position of these two, but I'm going to rename this to 10-ton launcher part. There we go. So that is actually the next thing to finish, even though the station lab core is in the primary slot. So just because this is so much simpler, it will be faster, and then this will finish afterwards and just will remain in the slot. Now, if this one were to finish first, like, okay, so this is got a day and a half. Now it's got 12 hours. So then what would happen is the station lab would then go into the first slot later and would have that reduced time. But yeah, this has 6 days now, or 2 days if I put it in the first one. If I had a third one, a third ship here, what would happen is it would give an estimated time left based on a rate of 1 build point per second, which is the standard rate or whatever. But that's not the only thing I want to talk about this episode. I'm actually doing the moon care package today. We're going to send this off to the moon, and hopefully if I do everything right, we will enhance our communications, and we will have a miner that doesn't suck as much, because I have done a pretty poor job, I think, so far with the moon. But yeah, so with the extra panels that are in here and these radiators and even more panels here, we've got, I think, 8 total. We should be able to, I'm having so much trouble with words today. We should be able to be mining all the time, which would be very, very nice. So let's set this up. That's rather wobbly, which is kind of unfortunate. This does not use one of my standard launchers, because I built it before I started making standardized launchers, but let's launch it. And I will actually probably skip this launch and go to when we are in space. So we are just about to get a positive periapsis, so I'm going to drop this stage and not have a connection. Oh, I can't believe I actually did that. I apparently forgot to extend any of this, and so I just messed it up. Okay, I have to relaunch. Alright, we're about to get a positive periapsis again. This time I've actually extended this, so let's drop that stage and activate this one and just... Whoa. Turn that off. Turn SAS on. Alright, we are in orbit now. Hopefully this isn't going to be that annoying to use. Let's point that at Kerbin and leave the other ones closed. This is kind of high orbit, but it's alright. We've got 2 hours, 26 minutes until that alarm. Going to be kind of sad if this just bounces around like this the whole time. Okay, so we are about to do our transfer burn to the moon. We are over here, and it's kind of confusing looking with all the lines, but we are doing the burn now, which is all that matters. It's about 1 kilometer per second, but it'll be a really quick transfer, 9 hours, and then we'll just be pretty much right there. And then, if I can zoom in here, you can see we're going to get an equatorial orbit with about 73 kilometer periapsis. And then from there we will circularize, and this will actually be a horizontal equatorial orbit. And it looks like, I think we have, yeah, we're escaping. I just need to be very, very careful that I don't overshoot this by a whole lot, because that would be... That's interesting. There's a Laythe encounter. Not actually what we want right now. Though the Laythe Probe will be coming back. Alright, let's just bring this in. Yeah, the Laythe Probe will be coming back in the time that this will be transferring, and so we will have to switch over to that to do its, it's got a small correction burn that it needs to make. Okay, there we go. Let's stop pointing at that. Accept that. There we go. This transfer is now, so that's not really an issue. We've got 2 hours until we are out of Kerbin's sphere of influence. I'm going to turn some of these off. Don't need that on. Yeah, 2 hours till we're out of Kerbin's sphere of influence, and then 9 hours until we get to the moon, and then we've got 20 minutes or so within, yeah, 11 minutes, and then we should be good by then. And hopefully, so I haven't really gotten to show you guys this, which apparently I can't yet. There's no sun. There we go. So we've got two little, technically three probes. We've got these two. This one's currently closed. It's got a little bit of fuel, but not a whole lot. But it's just basically a dish and a communitron and another one like that. And this one doesn't have a dish, but also then in here we've got the radiators and we've got the solar panels. This I somehow need to get to the station. These are going to be in an equatorial orbit, and I want to make it so that they're on opposite sides of the same orbit. And what that will do is hopefully one of them will be in communication with Kerbin, the other one probably won't, but they'll be able to relay their connection through the rescue refueler using the omnidirectionals, and that'll cover, especially if I keep it kind of far out, that'll cover most of the moon. I mean, I might lose the North Pole when this is down, but it will definitely increase our coverage. And if I decide to bring the Moon Explorer equatorial, which I probably should do at some point, if I do that, then we will pretty much have coverage at almost all points in time. And that's what I'm hoping happens. I'm going to quick save now and speed up time to when we are on our way out. I'm hoping I have enough Delta V to do this, though. I only have 850, and this is gonna be more than that. That's apparently a 1600 meter per second burn. Even to get captured at all requires 1500. Wow. Uh-oh. I may have doomed this mission before it even has begun. This is going to be interesting. I most likely have doomed this mission and wasted more time. That's unfortunate, but whatever, let's just go with it. That's disappointing. I should have probably given this more fuel. I thought it had enough. We have a moon encounter in 6 hours, but the Laythe Probe is the next thing to come up. So I'm going to jump to the ship and restore that maneuver node, and then let's see what we can do with this. So we have this maneuver here, which will give us a periapsis that's within the atmosphere, but not too low. Hopefully we'll be able to do an aerobraking maneuver to come back around, get into orbit, and we will have to get the science from this from somehow. This doesn't have any parachutes, I don't think, so we can't land it. So we will have to send a Kerbal up to get it. So we're probably going to have to... Hopefully we can get it to be in about the same orbit as the station. That would be ideal. Alright, we are 1 minute away. I'm going to just have the flight computer handle the burn. Okay, there we go. So now we have a 53 kilometer periapsis. The moon care package is the next thing to enter, and the Laythe Probe still has 7 hours before it gets there. So I'm going to switch back to the moon care package. So yeah, the moon care package is going to leave the moon very soon. which is unfortunate because I definitely messed that up. And as a result, will not be helping the fine folk here. And that means I don't really know what I'm going to do. Maybe I will actually send the Moon Explorer back to Kerbin, and at a later point in time I will send a better Mooner mission, and maybe I'll just focus on Laythe next if it's not totally broken, and if it is, maybe I'll go to Minmus because Minmus will be even easier. And now that we have better solar panels, we have real docking ports, we've got larger engines and everything, the technology that we tried to use for the Mooner Explorer is kind of outdated and useless and kind of disappointing. So yeah, maybe I will just send that home. It did get some science, which will be very, very useful. But it just hasn't done what we need it to. Oh, this jewel periapsis might actually be within... Okay, no, it moved. So now once again we're getting this weird issue with Laythe. Oh shoot. So the fun thing that's happening right now is that, one, I just switched to something. Simulation, I can now simulate around Bop, that's nice. The Laythe Probe, if I switch to it, had a sphere of influence change, and in 9 hours will be leaving. So I would like to add a maneuver, not on that one, on this orbit, here, and that is in 3 hours. Let's actually bring that down to here. I just want to make sure that I don't go past this going through periapsis, which would be really bad because then it wouldn't be doing the aerobraking. The good news is this should be in short-range communications now. I shouldn't have to worry so much about that. Actually, we're not yet in short-range communication, but we will be soon. So that's pretty sweet. I'm going to switch back to the Moon Care package, though, which is going to be the Laythe Care package. So this isn't really sure if it's even going to have this encounter. I'm going to quick save and just warp up and see what happens. So in a couple seconds we should be possibly changing spheres of influence, and I am sure that this will throw tons of null reference exceptions, and that's how we will know. Yes, there we go, tons of null reference exceptions. We are in fact in the sphere of influence, and I need to, right, that's not from toolbar. Okay, so in 19 minutes, we don't have a connection either, because Kerbin is on the other side. That's unfortunate. I'm not sure if we will get a connection in time. Where's the moon? The moon is also on the other side. Oh, that is an unfortunate side effect of Laplace resonance. Yes, so those two are on the same side, and we are on the other one. And that's probably going to result in the partial destruction of this ship. We will probably lose these solar panels. No, we will definitely lose those solar panels. And we will possibly lose some other stuff. Unless we can get a connection by then, but I don't anticipate that happening. I'm also not sure if this is going to be an aero capture altitude. Goodbye, solar panels. It was fun. So we have now gotten low enough that we can't use time warp. We have to use physical time warp. I have no idea what's about to happen. Are we even seeing drag? We're already going back up. This looks like 32 is not a good enough altitude for doing aero capture around Laythe. And after that, it's going to be escaping Joule and intercepting Eve. So that's kind of silly. Yeah, the Moon Care package is going to go pretty much to Eve. Unless we can stop it. I am, at the very least, entertained by this mission so far. I think we're actually too far out for it to even matter. We could maybe get a connection with the moon. This has been an interesting mission, to say the least. Luckily, there were no Kerbals aboard. We are now within short-range communications, so I'm going to deactivate this. I'm going to quick save now, just to make sure I don't do anything wrong. We're coming in on the night side, which is a little annoying. This does have a short-range, super short-range communications thing, and I'm going to activate that. I'm also going to retract these panels and these ones. They're blocked by Kerbin, so it's not really that useful. I'm going to point this in the orbital retrograde so that it goes feet first into the atmosphere. Deactivate this, and we should still have communication. In 4 minutes' time, let's re-extend these panels and reactivate that. That's in 4 minutes. And at that point in time, it will have already aerobraked, but until then, it's going to hold retrograde. So you'll see this time is going up because we are aerobraking. This is coming down. And we are just sliding right over that. This is actually a really, really high apoapsis. I could have probably left those open without any issue. Or periapsis, sorry. Let's speed up some time warp. I may need to supplement this with a burn. In fact, I'm going to do a very small burn now. And now we are captured. So we don't need to worry about this going anywhere. And in hopefully a couple minutes, the panels and stuff will extend. If not, it's not the worst problem, but let's actually reactivate that just in case. So yeah, now you'll see this is coming out, this is coming out. I can re-extend these. I'm going to deactivate this, we won't need it. But that is a basic aerobraking procedure. I should, if you put this there's an action group called Toggle for this. If you put it on that, you can just use that and fire the action group, and then you don't have to worry about the fact that this only has a deactivate button. If it had a toggle button, it would be much, much nicer, but for whatever reason, it doesn't. Unfortunately, that was a bit of a, here it is. That was a bit of a failure, and it's completely my fault that that happened. So I think I'm just going to call it quits with the moon for a little while. I'm going to bring the Moon Explorer back, probably crash it into Kerbin, and then I will have to send up a new mission. Perhaps I will send a mission capable of landing on all of the moons of Jool, and we will do a... How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4 if you include Kerbin, 5 with Pol. So we'll do a Julian 5 or so, and we will, or 4 I guess, because Kerbin, and we will land on all of Jool's moons. So Minmus, Laythe, Moon, and Pol. Refueling probably each time. So that, I think I will plan on doing that. If Laythe is going to keep having issues, I may have to recompile Alternis in order to stop having the changes to the terrain, because I think the terrain changes are what's causing all those null references, and that definitely messed us up last episode. So unfortunately it was an unsuccessful episode. However, we will get the ability to start simulations around the sun when this actually leaves, but that's not very useful. So, I am Mike, aka TheMagico13. I want to thank you all for watching. I will see you all next time.